If you're constantly overworked, overwhelmed, anxious, and drained, you're not broken. You're doing too much. I used to think that success meant hustling every single hour, even if it meant no breaks at all. But when I started to do less, I healed better and I was more productive. Hey, Royal Family, welcome to the front row with myself, Roanna, where I talk about all things self-development. Chapter 1. Signs you're doing too much. If your anxiety and stress levels are off the charts, you're doing too much. If you can't sleep and you have lots of anxiety, you're doing too much. If you get irritated easily, even if it's the small things, you're doing too much. If discipline is out the window, you're doing too much. If you've lost consistency in everything that you're doing too much. If your life is on autopilot and you are not actually doing life, honey, you're doing too much. This was me. I had a calendar event for everything in my life. I got to a point where I was planning everything hour by hour, to the point where I was even putting TV time in. And I didn't even have an hour that was not filled in my calendar. It got so hectic that I threw it out the window and I just didn't do anything. And I became super counterproductive. I felt more stressed, I had more anxiety, and I just did not want to do anything at all because I just felt like it was impossible. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a firm believer of time blocking your calendar. But the way I was time blocking my calendar was not healthy. I was sort of doing it like Mona Katan. If you've watched Dubai Bling, you'll know that Mona Katan is known for diarizing every single thing to the minute. And I was like that. And that system just didn't work for me. I had no space to think and just be bored. I had convinced myself that I was winning because when you looked at my calendar, it looked great. But in reality, I was far more stressed, more anxious, and not having a good life. I felt completely disconnected and I felt like I didn't have my finger on the pulse. That's when I realized that healing does not happen when you're stuck in survival mode. Chapter 2. The emotional toll of hustle culture. I used to think that non-stop work was directly proportional to success. And I never thought about the burnout aspect of it. And I never thought about the stress and the anxiety that it could bring. I never thought that having a balanced life was so important in the success of my story. And when I say balanced life, I don't mean equal percentage of doing things. I mean being able to do a little of everything, even the things that make me bored, and keep my creative juices running. That's what I mean by balance. Because the truth is, you can't have balance, but you can do a little of everything. So you feel like you have balance. I think I was very sucked into a society that taught me that if you don't hustle, if you don't overwork yourself, if you don't stress yourself out to the point where you have nothing left in you, that you will not be successful. And I associated being relaxed and doing nothing with someone that was not successful. And so I saw myself becoming burnt out. I saw myself not having any tools to cater to anxiety and stress. And that led to me having heart palpitations and insomnia because it was just too much for me to handle. And then after much reading and research and watching wellness influencers, I then learned that it was actually okay for me to rest. And it was okay for me to be bored for a little time. It was okay for me to have fun for a little while still working on my dreams and still working on my goals, because that was the thing that was refueling me to be better at reaching my goals. But if I didn't fuel, then I was just performing on empty and I wasn't giving the best of myself. So I needed to change my ways. I realized that the slowness does not make me lazy, and it was something that was mandatory for my wellness and for me to be better at what I want to do. I think especially for us moms and women, we are expected to be great moms and great wives and keep the house absolutely together, and everything needs to just be sort of balancing in the perfect equilibrium. And that kind of pressure, especially as a woman, I think it swallowed me up and I got consumed by it and I didn't know how to handle it. And it was only when I started to take some time for myself and pour into my own cup did I see the fruits of that, and the benefits of that resulted in me actually being better because I was happier around my family. I was more productive at work because I had rested my brain. I was a better performing individual in society, in this role of mom, career woman, daughter, sister, friend, colleague, etc. So I decided to reframe rest as strategic downtime. It wasn't a weakness, it was a strength. When I rested, I reset, I rebuilt, I got my mind together. I had better understanding of what my next steps would be. And rest could mean anything. For me, I started off with 5-minute meditation. I went to bed half an hour earlier. When I realized that the value of my life is based on how well I keep myself, how well I perform in work, at home, with my friends and family, I wanted to feel whole. I wanted to feel accomplished. I wanted to feel like I was doing everything to the best of my ability. And the only way I could do that was if I focused on myself and I fueled myself with the right ingredients so that I could perform to the best of my ability. Chapter 3, How to Slow Down Without Guilt. So seeing as I absolutely enjoyed time blocking to the point where I went crazy about it, I still kept something that I liked. But now I time blocked free time. I time blocked meditation. I time blocked my calendar for an hour to 2 hours at a time just to be free to do whatever I wanted, and I didn't have an itinerary. I think the problem when I first started to time block was that even when I scheduled TV time or free time, in that I would say TV, wash dishes, play outside for 15 minutes, play Scrabble, or whatever the case is, and that felt so strict and it restricted me. But now when I time block, I set a few hours to do whatever I want. It could be absolutely nothing, or it could be 5 different things that I like, but it's my choice. And when I gave myself more choices to think and be free with that, I started to see a difference. I started to feel happier. I started to feel like I was in control and I wasn't being controlled by a spreadsheet. I used the time to be still, to daydream, to meditate, take a walk, to just be in my thoughts, to watch TV, to talk, to just do anything that wasn't about structure or work or stress. Then I started to say no more often. I said no to all the things that drain me. I don't want to be doing the things that's taking away energy from me. Like, who wants to be in that space? It's 2025. We're not about that life anymore. And the more I started to protect my peace, the happier I started to feel. I didn't attend things that made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't around people that made me feel uncomfortable. I didn't connect with people that drained my energy or that insulted me or just was ambivalent people around me. And the more I chose myself and I said no, the better my life was starting to look. And the thing is that I realized if someone is ambivalent to me, I might be ambivalent to them as well. And that's okay. And I was happy with that. I just didn't want to be around something that didn't serve me or ignite some positive emotion within me. I realized that if I'm leaving a conversation and I'm feeling incredibly low spirited, then perhaps I don't want to have too many conversations with those types of people. But if I'm leaving a conversation and I'm feeling happy and invigorated and I'm feeling nice about the whole thing, then perhaps I'm going to do this conversation with this person again. And that also helped me to differentiate the different people that I was rolling with. And I got to know people differently because I was more aware and I started meeting people with intention, as opposed to just joining someone blindly and not really absorbing or thinking about whether this relationship is a time waster or whether this relationship was actually worth giving my time to. Maybe this next step I'm not very good at yet, but I try to stop multitasking. I'm still somewhat of a multitasker. Okay, maybe I'm a lot of a multitasker, but I think as women, we do this naturally. We're just able to film on camera while I can still hear my kid on the other side and I know what they're doing and I want to give them an instruction right now as we speak. So multitasking is part of who we are, but multitasking drains you so fast. Allocating time to every task individually is key to one, making your brain feel a little more controlled and relaxed, and also eliminating the anxiety and stress of what multitasking brings to your brain. When I started to give more focused energy to a task and not to do too many things at one time, I also found that I was far more productive at that particular task. The thing that I'm not that good at yet, the power of yet, if you know, you know, is that I still look at an email or a WhatsApp when I hear the notification. So I'm still working on that. It's a work in progress. But in other tasks, like when I'm cleaning the house, for example, I try and compartmentalize it into time blocks. So I say, I've got an hour to do these 3 rooms, and I'm going to get it done in an hour. So that drives me. And I'm not stopping and getting sidetracked and doing other things. Like before, I would stop and then play on my phone and then feel hungry and go eat something and then have a cup of tea. And then I'm like, 3 hours later and I'm still cleaning these damn 3 rooms. So with the focus time, I'm faster, more efficient, and then I have more time to just play on my phone or do something else. Especially when it comes to work tasks, I think the less multitasking you do, the better. And then when I have things that I know I can multitask with, it's the small things. Like if I'm doing admin work and I'm answering emails and I need to talk to someone or whatever, then I know that's a multitasking blocked session in my calendar. So I allow myself that malleability or the flexibility because I know I'm a woman and I naturally will multitask. So I don't want to be so strict on the fact that I must not multitask that I then feel overwhelmed because I'm not allowed to multitask. I think it's just a reminder that slowing down doesn't mean I'm giving up. It means I'm just trying to be more productive. And for the things I can't complete today, I can't complete today. I am one human being. People just need to understand that and get with the program. And I will move things to tomorrow because Rome was not built in a day. Chapter 4, creating space for rest, clarity, and healing. Now I love prioritizing my quiet moments, my meditation time, my walks, especially in the sun. I enjoy threading and waxing and doing my nails. I enjoy reading and I enjoy playing my music instruments or dancing. So I take that time to focus that energy on the things that make me happy, that bring me joy. And when I refuel by doing any one of those things, even if it is 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I really do start feeling better. I really do feel happier about who I am as a person. I do feel accomplished. But when I don't do those things and I don't slow down or take a break or do some of the things that bring me joy that's outside of productivity and work, then it shows. I am more irritable. I am not as happy about life. I am not as positive about life. And I'm not a good manifester also because I'm not grateful and I'm not affirming what I want. And my learnings through this experience is that there is growth in stillness. It's actually imperative that you stay quiet for a while, you stay still for a while, or you take a time out for a while, because that's the thing that's gonna propel you forward way faster than if you don't take the time for yourself. My healing happens mostly when my mind is still and my nervous system starts to feel safe when I still myself and I am better with myself in the quiet moments. I feel more reconnected with my soul and I just feel a little more whole again. When I started to give myself more space, the noise in my head got quieter and I started to think clearly, and I just was presenting myself as a better version of myself in society. I also became better at making decisions and I was a better communicator. And for me, that's a huge win. You don't have to hustle to heal or be successful. You actually need a mixture of fun times and work times to feel like you are owning your life. And you can't have balance when you're in the growth life cycle of your life, but you can feel like you are in control. And these tips will help you feel like you are in control. Because you can have 14 hours of work every day. But if you have those 5 to 10 minutes of just happy moments where it's not, oh, I'm taking a break, oh my gosh. And you're like, I'm taking a break because I need to fuel myself. It changes the whole game. So take a deep breath in, love yourself enough to give yourself enough. And if you liked this video, then you're going to enjoy the playlist below. I thank you so much for your time. I'll catch you again next week.